aboard one of the most famous ferries in the world. Please pay attention to the emergency procedure notices displayed around the vessel. In the unlikely event of an emergency, you will hear 7 short blasts followed by 1 prolonged blast on the whistle. If you hear this signal, please make your way to the life jacket assembly points, following the assembly station direction signs displayed. The buoyancy apparatus on the top deck is in fact the seating, which will accommodate, along with the open reverse life rafts, 860 passengers. The crew will be on hand to give instructions and advice. Please note that smoking, including the use of e-cigarettes, is not permitted on any part of the vessel. And for your own safety, we also ask you not to stand in seats or sit on the ship's rails. We advise you to remain seated throughout the journey, particularly when arriving and leaving terminals, and we ask cyclists to alight after all foot passengers have left the vessel. Please be aware that at low tide, the least-span passenger bridges will be at a steep angle. This time of day is called low water. You may have difficulty if you are elderly or infirm, so please ask for help if required and take care. The low water times are displayed adjacent to the servery on the main deck of this vessel. During the cruise, you will see some of Liverpool and Wirral's most famous landmarks, including the Three Graces, Mersey Town Hall, the Mersey Tunnel's ventilation shafts, Hammerhead Shipyard, the Albert Dock, and Liverpool's 2 magnificent cathedrals. We should be calling first at Seacombe, and then at Woodside, on the Wirral side of the river. You can break your journey at our Seacombe terminal, the gateway to New Brighton. Here you can find a range of facilities including a cafe, and take time to visit Spaceport, our space-themed visitor attraction where you can experience life beyond the stars and take an inspirational journey through space as you walk through several themed galleries, all featuring a large variety of hands-on exhibits. As well as their planetarium, you can feel the force, see the light, and play games in the interactive zone. Check the Spaceport website or leaflet for opening times and more information. You can also stop off at Woodside, gateway to Birkenhead Town Centre. Here you can find further catering facilities and visit our U-boat story, where you can see the fascinating World War II German U-boat U-534. The submarine has a remarkable history, and visitors are able to see into the submarine as well as view its numerous artifacts in our purpose-built visitor centre. Check the U-boat story website or leaflet for opening times and more information.
There's been a ferry across the Mersey for more than 800 years, providing a link between Liverpool and the Wirral shorelines. Pier Head, our starting point, takes its name from the long stone pier which once jutted out into the river from the shore next to the Sailors' Church, the Church of Our Lady and St Nicholas. You can see the church at the back and to the left of the Liver building with a golden square rigger ship on its lantern-top tower. The modern 350-metre terminal on your right is Liverpool's new cruise liner berth. Liverpool is now a major cruise destination and experiencing a rapid growth in cruise liner visits. In all, 7 miles of docks and 23 miles of quays stretch along the Liverpool foreshore. In 1710, the Corporation of Liverpool started work on the world's first commercial wet dock, and by the end of the century, the city boasted a full dock system. Steam had revolutionised shipping, and this, combined with the Industrial Revolution and the opening up of the Americas, secured Liverpool's future as a trading city and a major port.
Liverpool's unique character has been influenced by a diverse mix of races: Welsh, Irish, West Indians, Africans and Chinese. And this has produced a population characterised by its vitality, resilience and extreme sense of humour. The city is also home to the oldest Chinese community in Britain. Liverpool had prospered from trade with the British West Indies and the American colonies during the 18th century. A latecomer to the triangular trade of cheap goods to Africa, slaves to the sugar plantations, and sugar, rum and tobacco home to England. Liverpool, nevertheless, came to dominate the slave trade until its abolition in 1807. The growth of the United States of America provided Liverpool with growing volumes of trade, and new docks opened on the Mersey in quick succession during the 1800s. The city was described as the gateway to the British Empire and the door to the New World. Between 1830 and 1930, over 9 million people left Liverpool by boat in search of a better life. Before steamships were introduced, these journeys were extremely hazardous. To sail to America would take 35 days, and the trip to Australia lasted from 10 to 17 weeks, depending on wind and weather. The ships were crowded, and conditions encouraged the spread of diseases such as cholera. By the late 1800s, over 200 ships a week would leave Liverpool and travel to all corners of the world. Liverpool then was the most important port outside London. Owning a seventh of the total registered shipping in the world, the city attracted wealthy businessmen, merchants, sailors and privateers, and the population increased dramatically, with over 75,000 people packed into 1 square mile of what was described as mean streets and fever-haunted alleys. The city has always evoked strong emotion in people. Daniel Defoe, author of Robinson Crusoe, wrote, "Liverpool is one of the wonders of Britain." Charles Dickens was also a frequent visitor to the city and regularly took the ferry, as he put it, for the air.
We now see the massive red brick building, which is the Stanley Tobacco Warehouse. When built in 1900, it was the world's biggest bonded warehouse, large enough to fit St George's Hall inside. It was built using 27 million bricks, specifically for storing tobacco cargo until duty was paid, and it's still the largest brick-built building in the world. This is also the original site of the entrance to the Leeds-Liverpool Canal from the river. Although now the Pierhead extension is finished, the canal extends through to the Albert Dock.
Facing the tobacco warehouse, in the restored North Warehouse, is the Titanic Hotel, the first phase of the development of this historic area. And on the dock wall stands the Victorian hexagonal Salisbury Dock Clock Tower, designed like the Waterloo Dock and the Albert Dock by Jessie Hartley, who was responsible for much of Liverpool's dockland architecture.
The clock's chief use was to check the ship's chronometer as the vessel left port, and was affectionately known as the docker's clock. It has 6 faces that can be seen from all points of the compass. The only other one of its kind is in Russia.